Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. Just getting started by showing you this client's set. She has come back for a complete new set. The set had very minimal lifting. I think her one finger had a little bit more lifting, but for the most part, as you can see, the nails look pretty freaking great. She had them on for about 3 weeks and we're just, removing them. So I went in with my straight edge clipper and clip. In terms of like removing tips that way, if you apply your acrylic in a appropriate way, where your sidewalls are not super thick, 2 clips on the sides of those free edge of the nail, not the free edge, 2 clips on the side of where her natural free edge is will absolutely just snap that nail in half. It is not painful for the client. And then I went in with my e-file and removed the set completely. You saw I had her soak a little bit. So the whole point of me e-filing is just to thin down that acrylic so that she's not soaking for 45 minutes. Also, just make sure that you are using EMA products, not MMA. You can definitely tell when it comes to that soak off process. If you use EMA, it will be a fluffy, kind of flaky kind of acrylic removal system or situation. If it's MMA, it will be that slimy, gunky, really hard to remove situation. So just be wary of that, especially if you have like a new client who comes in with work that's already there. You can kind of tell in that soak off process what kind of product that is. That's just something to be very careful about if you are licensed. It's illegal to use those types of products. So always just, inform your clients when you're working with them, things like that. But this is my client. We don't use those products, but I do have clients who come from elsewhere, and during the soak off, I'm like, ooh, girl, I gotta tell you something. But yes, starting off prep as normal. Definitely check out that video of the set that she had when she came in. It was super, super pretty and gorgeous and bright, and she kicked off like the orange trend. I'm still like racking my brain just in case someone else comes in and wants an orange set, but she was the first to get orange this summer. So I'm going in with my diamond skiver bit. I have already pushed back her cuticles and sprayed her down with some alcohol. Now I'm just going in with my sanding band or an arbor band on my mandrel bit, very, very slow speed, and I'm just buffing her nail. Her nails look really rough. That's just because we soaked and removed that set, so there's just like a lot of white cast all over her hands, but no biggie. Just lightly buffing the nail and using it mainly towards the back end. I'm trying to remove any excess cuticle that might be sitting on that nail plate, or even just buffing the skin. I find being able to use sanding bands on the skin around that area kind of helps too, to just kind of pre-buff the skin so you have a nicer base. I'm going in with these tips that I got from Zule. So in another video, I purchased a different set of tips that I thought were going to be not C-curve XXL, but they ended up having like a slight C-curve. These do not have a C-curve, which I love. So I need to, work on these for myself. These are basically those extendo tips without the well. That's basically what these are. They're 4XL non-C-curve stiletto tips, and we are going to be using them on this client. I love this client. She loves a long nail. I love a long nail. So I was just like, she's the perfect person to try these on. So I'm just taking a few moments to size her up. You want your tips to fit sidewall to sidewall, but not be too big, not be too small. If they're too small, they'll pinch and you'll have lifting. If they are too big, moisture will get up on the sides of them and you will have lifting. So it's just really important to appropriately size your clients. You'll see that I'm going back and forth sometimes with different sizes to make sure that I'm getting the accurate size for her. And if you can't find a size for a client, always best to go larger and clip the sides until they fit. After that, we're just going to go in with a little bit of glue, and as you can see, I am placing these tips on the very, very tips of her nails. You do not want to have glue all over the nail. The whole point is just to add an extension so that you can make the nails longer, but you don't want glue on the nail. It's not going to last very long. We want that extension to be on the nail. Going in with my nail clipper, not my standard straight edge clipper. I'm using an actual tip cutter just because these tips are so thick. I find that if I use my straight edge on it, then it kind of fractures that tip a little bit as well. So I'm just using my clipper. I don't use it very often, and I already did her, I want to say her right hand, so I'm just using that as a guide to make sure that the nails are exactly the same. After that, we are going to go in and shape these nails. So these nails are pretty broad in terms of the width, even though they are a stiletto, and I wanted to do more of a tapered square shape. So when you cut them in the middle of the nail, they're at the widest part of the tip. So I'm just going to take a few moments to shape these nails, make sure that the free edge is nice and square as well. Sometimes when you use those like tip cutters, At an angle, you might get a curved edge, or it might be slanted backwards towards the client. I'm not sure if you know what I mean, but I'm just taking my 80/80. I love this hand file because it's so stiff, and it's an 80/80. It does, like the grit on it does fall off, you know, fairly fast, but I use a different file for every client anyway, so I just chuck it in the trash or I just give it to the client. But I love this hand file just because how stiff it is. I can, especially on these types of tips, I really can, you know, file to my heart's content and not worry about my file wobbling or bending a little bit and messing up my shape. These, basically the stiffer the hand file, the better your shaping is going to be. So just keep that in mind if you're, you know, feel like you're struggling with shaping. But yeah, I'm not taking too long, and I have all of this bit like sped up all the way just because this is not what we're really here for. We're here for like the acrylic part and the design part, but just wanted to show you basically what I was doing for the client. Once I'm happy with the shaping, I'm just gonna go in and do a pre-blend, just a quick little scuff with the same hand, I said hand file, same mandrel bit, and I'm just, as you can see, basically touching only that tip area. We've already buffed her natural nail, and you don't wanna over buff your nails. That can also cause lifting when you scuff the nail a little bit too much, but I'm just giving it a light blend, especially because these tips are really thick as well. So I'm going back to my regular priming system. I just figured I'd try it. It works. Honestly, it was just there on the table, so I used it. This is the Mia Secret system, the dehydrator. This is the Mia Secret Extra Bond, and then I'm gonna go in with a thin coat of the Young Nails Protein Bond, bringing it back because I've been playing around with different priming systems, and as you saw, the set that she had, I think I did not polish triple bond for that one, but we're just going, it's a new set, so let's, you know, try Mia Secret again. After that, going in with Young Nails Protein Bond, just really small amount back at the cuticle. I find that it just helps to give me an extra bit of adhesion that I love. It always works for me. So as you know, I like to apply a clear bead of acrylic under every single set if I can, especially down the length of the tip, because when clients come back, most of the time they want something completely different, and I feel like applying this clear acrylic base gives me that versatility and the safety underneath a design, so that if I want to, like today, this set is going to be an opaque acrylic set on that tip. If the next time she comes, tomorrow, if the next time she comes in, she wants a glass tip, I don't want to have to be like, oh, well, I got to give you a whole new tip. Nope. Underneath that color is clear, so we can just go in with a glass tip. If that's what the client is wanting. So it takes 2 seconds. I love doing this clear acrylic layer. Also, it's great because, as you saw, I put a crap ton of primer on her. Primer is very sticky, and some clients move around a lot. So like if this client scratches her pants or her hair or anything like that, touches her purse, you don't want to get lint and dust stuck to that sticky primer. So just making sure to do this really quickly after priming also helps to secure the nail. It just keeps it safe that a clear acrylic layer is going to polymerize, and then the client can kind of move around, and I feel comfy knowing that she's not messing up my work, you know what I mean? But yes, really quickly, I'm using Young Nails Core Clear and the Young Nails Monomer for this step, just taking it back. These are the products that I use the most when I first started doing nails, and I trust them, so they work really well for me. Just making sure to not flood the cuticle and sidewall area, making sure to completely cover the nail, and not warping my shape. And this step is really, really fast, as you can see, and it takes no time really. I'm not really focusing on a really clean application, just getting a coat of that clear on the nail. Look, swipe, swipe, and then adding my cuticle bead. We just want a thin layer of clear on that nail so that when the client comes back, we can come back down to this. Now for the fun stuff. So the star of the show for today is this really, really beautiful thermal acrylic. So I said it in a previous video that I'm going to try and push thermals on all of my clients because I don't know why, but thermals are really doing it for me this summer, and we did it again. So we are going in with this Revel Nail color changing acrylic. It is called Crater, and as you can see, it's like a very pretty soft lilac-y purple. This is the color that it's going to be when cold or wet. It also is going to change when normal temperatures, like warmer temperature. It's going to be this really pretty soft baby blue, and you're going to see it happening with the body heat from her nail. So the free edge of her nail is cool. I did have the AC on in the room, and there's the monomer on the acrylic brush right now is keeping it a little bit cooler. So as you can see, it is that nice periwinkle kind of purple, but once it starts touching her nail plate where there's body heat, you're going to see that beautiful pastel baby blue. And I cannot say how much I am feeling thermals right now, but this thermal acrylic was just so good and so cool. It was even more vivid than I thought it was going to be. We are going in for a nice soft, I guess, pastel blue set for her, and the fact that it changes colors just makes me extra happy. In terms of application, I am doing my best to not build up too much. This color is not the strongest. You can tell that there's a lot of pigment in it. It's fairly runny. So I knew I was going to clear cap. So I'm just making sure to get good coverage on the nail because I will be clear capping a little bit later. Just making sure right there that I cover every single part of the nail and cleaning up as necessary and not warping my shape. So going in, constantly swiping at my sidewalls and the free edge, and boom, there we go. Every single nail except for this ring finger is going to get a full coating of this acrylic, and as you can see on her pinky, the difference between those two colors is so freaking cool. Guys, like, thermal acrylics is just so fun. I am still on the hunt to find some more. I know Sugar and Cream just came out with not acrylics but gel polishes that change color, but they change from like a color to white, and I'm not sure that I like that. It's just going to change to white, but I'm still on the hunt for some more thermals. If I find any more, I will for sure let you know. I'm really considering doing a video showing you all of my thermals because they're just so fun. Look at how it's changing like right in front of us from purple to light blue. It's just so freaking cool. But yes, every single nail is going to get this full nail application, just making sure to constantly clean up the sidewalls. We want that nice square shape to be maintained that we spent some time filing in the beginning, and making sure to apply cleanly around that cuticle area, especially with an opaque kind of color like this. You don't want it to be messy. It will be completely visible if you do. So now look at what this color looks like when normal temperature. Isn't this so cool how it changed from this bright sky blue to that deep kind of lavender purple? It's just so cool. On her ring finger, we're going in with Sugar and Cream's Eggnog. So not only is it a color changing set, Eggnog is a glow in the dark color and it glows this crazy bright green. It's so good. It's one of my favorite Sugar and Cream colors. And I just wanted to do a nude on her that would be a little bit different and stand out from the blue. So I'm just going to do a full nail application of this Eggnog color, and Eggnog is a little bit sheer, so I found that I had to use drier beads just to get the pigment. Otherwise, if I continue to use more wet beads like I was doing with the other acrylic, then it would sheer out that color and I would have to apply a whole lot. So you're gonna see me apply a bead, kind of pat my brush on the side of my napkin, and then go in and just patting that product instead of swiping. You might even see me push the product back towards where I'm going just so that we get the pigment. I didn't want the color to continue to sheer out because it's like colored acrylic is expensive, especially glow in the dark acrylic. And I just noticed that yesterday that I had to work a little bit drier with the Sugar and Cream just because it was shearing out a little bit more than I wanted it to. So like I mentioned before, I already went into this knowing that I was going to be clear capping, and guys, look at this. So I did her other hand first, but by the time I got to these nails are a little bit longer. I was like, I'm not here to be doing 5 beads on each nail. I one beaded this pinky. I took a super large bead of clear acrylic. This is the Young Nails Core Clear, and I just slapped it on that pinky nail, and I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to be here all day 5 beading all of these long nails. You totally can, but I was just seeing if I could, and I was really excited that I was able to do that. Trust, I'm not doing that on every single finger, but it definitely just makes me, I just feel good. I feel like I'm becoming more confident in my nail work. That's something I think that just comes with time and practice as well. I'm fairly new to nails. I recently got my license. I've been doing nails for about a year now, went to school and everything, and still sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, or, you know, this design is like above me. I can't, you know, do this, but it's really cool, especially because I've been uploading to YouTube. To see the progress is like really freaking cool. If I watch my videos from like when I first started uploading, I'm like cringing, like, ooh, girl, what are you doing? But the more, I think it's with everything, the more you practice, the more times you know, you get into the repetitive motion, the easier it becomes. You find your own style. So I'm just really proud of the progress. Like yesterday doing these nails, it was just such a smooth process. As you can see, look at this clear cap, easy, done, beautiful shape, looking good, maintaining my nice square shape, nothing crazy. So just clear capping all of these nails. You're gonna see those so like her pinky, we just clear capped it. It's wet from the monomer. The tip of her nail is going to change to that purple. So I just love a thermal nail, guys. It's just so freaking cool. You'll see it happening again on this finger as the wet acrylic travels down the length of that nail. You're going to see it turning slightly to that purple color. It's just so freaking cool, guys. Get some thermal acrylics. Yeah, just making sure to, again, maintain my shape, cleaning the sidewalls, and just fully encapsulating that acrylic because it's not a very strong powder. It's about how beautiful it is and how it changes colors, but you got to protect that with some clear acrylic. So I'm just making sure to fully encapsulate it, even around the cuticle and sidewall areas. If you don't, when you go into file, you might file away that color, and we definitely don't want any patches in the color. So that's basically what's happening here. and the nails are back to being blue. So going in at this point, the client was saying that she actually felt like they were a little too wide and asked me to taper the nails in a little bit more. So this is another reason why I'm kind of glad that I e-file before hand filing, because if I was hand filing first, I would then have to go in and like manually hand file these nails to be a little bit thinner. But you're gonna see me using my e-file in this case to kind of take in the shape a little bit. So right now we have like a full square nail. She wants it to be a little bit more tapered. So I'm actually gonna just take this bit up the sides of the nails and just, you know, cut in, turn that speed up a little bit, hold that nail, that's where I'm gonna be doing it. Hold that nail really, really tough, and then right there, just let the bit kind of eat away at the product. And I'm gonna take my time. I'm not gonna press too hard or, you know, spend too much time on one side. You're gonna see me going back and forth just so that we get a nice even shape down the middle of the nail. You don't wanna file too hard on one side and then the nail looks a little bit crooked. But basically, it's gonna be a little bit longer of a filing process because I then have to take in every single nail. But I think it was great and the shape looked beautiful on her at the end anyway, but that's basically what we're doing here. In addition to that, we're just gonna focus on smoothing out all of the nails like I normally do, going side to side, up the length of the nail, cleaning the sidewalls and cuticle area, and then debulking if necessary. Now that the nails have been filed, smoothed, and taken in, I'm gonna go in with my same 80/80 grit hand file, super stiff, and we are going to look at how beautiful that shape is. Ooh, I love a long nail, and the shape is just gorgeous. That's my ideal shape. I love a tapered square, super long nail like that, especially with no, serious C curve or anything like that. Just being uber careful. This finger was a little bit sensitive for her. Normally, I would be squeezing the crap out of it, but she actually said that the squeezing was more painful than the wobble, so I was kind of like, you sure you don't want me to squeeze this nail? So, that's why you see her moving a little bit. She didn't want me to squeeze it like I normally do, but the rest of the fingers got the squeeze, you know what I mean? So just using this hand file to clean up the shape. I like to swipe from underneath the nail to remove any product that might be up on the sidewalls, and then using that up and down motion on that free edge. You see me squeezing the tip right there just to look at that beautiful sharp shape, apex looking good. I'm gonna do that on every single nail just to, get us to the next step of this set. I'm going to spray her down with some alcohol. Let's get clean and use my manicure brush. And even the alcohol kind of turns the nails a little bit just because it's a little bit moist. Super, super fun. Love, love, love thermal nails. There you go. Clean with my alcohol brush. Okay, so here is where the set is gonna go from just blue to like super fab. I am custom mixing this blue color for her. I didn't have an acrylic, not an acrylic, a gel polish that kind of matched the color that we were doing with the acrylic. So I figured I'd try and make it on my own. I'm using this like periwinkle blue and a light lavender purple and a little bit of white to kind of get something similar to that blue. Also, it's a color changing acrylic, so I knew that I wasn't gonna get it in its state all the time, but the color that I came up with is not too bad. I could have added a little bit more white to it so that it looks a little bit more sky blue, but remember these nails do change color, so it's not going to be this one color all the time. I'm going in with my super, super long liner brush. We are going to be doing a lot of hand art today, and I am just drawing a square French on her nails out. One thing that I find in terms of doing square French is that you actually have to taper in towards the center of the nail, towards the free edge, because if you just put the lines on the side, you're not going to see it from the front. So you're going to see me, there you go, bringing it in towards the center in the middle of the nail, making sure it's nice and clean, and then I'm going to clean her up in terms of the sidewalls and have her cure for 30 seconds to lock this down. So the magic of this set is that they're going to be bandana nails, which means it's going to be a lot of hand painting. I, for reference, just brought out a bandana. I have like my puppies wear bandanas all the time, so I just grabbed one from the puppy clothing bin and just put it on the table and was just kind of like, I'm just going to see if I can copy some of these designs. I'm going to be using black and white to do this, and I'm using both my regular nail art and dotting tool brushes and the ones that I got from Beetles as well. So on 3 of the nails, we are just starting off with some thick diagonal black lines. On one nail, I'm just going to do a full bandana-esque design, and on these nails, we're just going to kind of keep it in that area. So I'm starting off with this paisley, I don't know what shape this is, kind of like a comma. It looks like a comma to me in black, and I'm doing it randomly in those areas. So on the pinky and thumb, it's going in between those 2 diagonals. On the ring finger, we are doing some double black lines, and we're going to do some of those paisley commas. I guess that's what I'm going to call it, a paisley comma, on that nail. And on the pointer finger, we're going to cover the whole nail with that paisley comma. It's so weird to keep saying paisley comma, but you know what I mean, that like comma-esque shape where it's like a dot with like a little, there you go, a dot with like a little piece hanging off the end. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to be going back and forth. And in terms of doing this design, I did one hand and then would switch to the other hand just because yeah, that was just the way that I thought to do it. So I would do the black on one hand, have her put her hand in the lamp, and then rework the same thing on the opposite hand, so that I was just going back and forth so that I could kind of keep things cohesive. And this is the type of design that when you're starting, I'm sure your client is like, what the heck is going on? Why does it look like this? It's one of those designs where it's like, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And it doesn't need to be perfect. That's one thing I was struggling with. I was like, damn, like I want these lines to be super crisp, but I feel like the effect is there once you keep working at it. So we're incorporating some white because right now it just looks like she has black dots all over her nails. And I'm going to be outlining those diagonal lines and those comma dots, paisley commas. I don't know what these things are called, but outlining them in white on all of the nails. Then I wanted to add some outlined circles. I wanted to do white circles outlined in black, and I said to myself, there's no way I'm gonna be outlining actual circles. So the way that I thought to do this was to do dotting tool circles. So starting with the black and then going in with white inside, and there you go, you get the outline of black with the white inside. And I just feel like that kind of did it for me, so that I didn't have to actually paint circles, because that definitely would not have been a thing. Then I'm gonna go in and draw these like bird type shapes. You know, when you were younger and you had to draw birds like flying in the sunset, these two like arches that look like wings. That's basically what I'm drawing in here, just to fill in the space of the paisley. And again, it's one of those designs that kind of forms as you continue working on it. So like right now it may not look like bandana, but towards the end it totally will. And I kept saying to her, she was actually really trusting. She didn't actually ask me to do bandana nails. She came in and was just kind of like, do whatever you want, and I was just like, oh, okay. But it's one of those designs that get better with time. One thing that I'm doing now is using my tiniest dotting tool, and we are going to add those little dots on the outside of those paisley comma shapes. And the best way that I could think to do it was just to use this tiny dotting tool. There was no way that I was going to go in and hand paint all of those tiny dots, and it's going to go around every single one, so it's going to take a little bit of time. But as you can see with the dotting tool, it's super easy, and it helps to fill up the space and creates that bandana effect that we're used to seeing. So that's basically what I'm doing here. Boom, we've got some gorgeous bandana nails already set. So we're gonna add just a tiny bit of bling to this nude nail, cuticle bling. We were gonna do some chunky bling down the center, but felt like it was just a little bit distracting. So just to add a little bit of sparkle to this nail, just a little bit of cuticle bling in various sizes that just, you know, cuff her really nicely. On the middle finger, we're gonna add a little bit of bling too, just some small dainty bling, nothing crazy. I didn't wanna take away from the design, and I'm using my Zule bling adhesive to do this. Final step to this set is just to glossy top coat. I am using the Gloss It by Not Polish, and I love this top coat, making sure to coat everything, especially because we did so much hand painting. You don't want that to be exposed and then, like, you know, chip off or rub off over time. And making sure to not get the top coat on top of your rhinestones. On the this finger here, the middle finger, I'm totally painting over it. Don't worry, I do go in and wipe off. Honestly, it's just laziness. I can't be bothered to like take my time to paint around and not get, I just paint the whole nail and then wipe off the top coat over the rhinestones. And then I'm going to clean up her sidewalls, make sure we don't warp that beautiful shape that we spent so much time filing and, you know, prepping for. And then I'm gonna have her cure for 60 seconds to finish this set off. All right, everybody, this is what that set looks like in actual daylight. The shape is looking super gorgeous and we have beautiful bandana nails. This is what the set ended up looking like. I am going to show you a clip of us dipping her hands in cold water so you can see that change. We know that they were a nice sky pastel baby blue, and then when you take them out of the cold water, they're this lovely deep kind of lavender purple. Just so cool. I love a thermal acrylic. Thank you so much for watching. This is what the set is going to look like normally, and it changes to purple. Like if you like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.